Hello? Hello, come in. Hello, come in. Good Lord. I was messing with the settings the other day and turned the damn echo up. Oh, man. So what's up? How's everybody doing? They finally stopped being so sensitive and lifted my ban and now I'm back. I need to adjust this because I want y'all to see that screen back there. There we go. Do. Hey, hey. Hey, hey. Troll. Sherry. And Jello. It's kind of weird because whenever you look at it, I've got to remember to look at the camera because if I don't, it looks like I'm looking down at the damn floor. The hell? The cool thing is, at least YouTube's not so sensitive. They're going to kick me off for hitting my vape or anything like that. Freaking idiots. But the thing about it is, what they banned me for was putting out a video telling the truth about some nasty ass shit that the government covers up, talking about adrenochrome. So I got that 1 week ban for that shit. Idiots, I swear to God, they're idiots. All of them. Oh, Shannon, Katie. I'm gonna wait just a little bit longer. It's kind of weird going from TikTok to YouTube because you're so used to being on TikTok live, you just push a button, bam, there it is. But with YouTube, you've got to set certain. You got to set certain. I did it again. Set certain things. Don't y'all laugh at me, asshole. I know you are. I know you're sitting over there laughing. A little bit longer. Then I'm going to start busting this out. Softer than a cotton ball. I can't wait to get my new system in. I'm going to have like 2 or 3 screens up here where I can read chats and watch videos and all this other stuff. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. So I was going to get on here tonight and I was going to talk about the history of pedophilia, how far back it goes, where it starts. But then I got to thinking about that, and pedophilia has been around for thousands of years. It just wasn't ever really recognized as pedophilia until the early 1900s. You know, you have arranged marriages all through history where dads would arrange their daughters to be married to some old rich dude down the road. They never looked at it as pedophilia. What they were looking at it is they were securing their daughter's future. Blech. I would never say, here, take my daughter, even though she's 12 and you're 40. No, negative. But anyway, I was going to talk about that because at the time I thought it was really important to know the history of it, but who really gives a fuck about the history of pedophilia? Either way, it's there. It started thousands of years ago and it's still here today. so it doesn't matter about the history. What I am going to talk about tonight, and the reason I have behind me, I have the pink ribbon on the screen and the pink lights, is I know most of y'all have been seeing my videos where I'm putting the word out about Haley's Law. Well, Haley was a young lady in Indiana who was groomed on Roblox, and eventually she was murdered by a predator. Um, so that's why that's there. And that's kind of what we're going to be talking about tonight. Not so much Haley, but the internet as a whole. Um, Gaming chat rooms, games like Roblox, and games like Fortnite. Any of these games that have these chat boxes in these chat rooms. To be honest with you, I wish they would do away totally with the chat boxes altogether on all platforms if you're underage. You know, if you're 18 or older, that's cool, but you should be required to show identification. I mean, hell, I can click on websites all the time and they ask for age verification. You take a picture of your ID and there you go. So, if y'all remember back, um, if you're old enough to remember back like me, I'm an old ass. But back in the 90s when they came out with that game, Sim City, I found, I don't know how many games that are cartoon like, geared for kids, but whole ass for adults. Just like GTA. People that haven't ever played GTA, did you know they have a whole ass strip club in the game GTA? It's really gross how much they gear for kids. And they do it because they know that kids want it and kids are going to bug their parents about it because to be honest with you, a lot of parents just aren't involved. Not involved like they're supposed to be. You hear some people talking about, oh, you're being overbearing, you're being this, and you're being that. Okay, if I'm overbearing enough to where it saves my kid's life, I'll do it all day long, all day, every day. Now, I'm not saying be so overbearing to where you don't let them experience life and have a good time with their friends. But when it comes to them talking to complete fucking strangers on the internet, yes, I'm going to whole ass be the worst overbearing parent you've ever seen. For example, Haley Busby. Now, her parents are great people from what I've read. I haven't ever met them. I've read all about it. Great people were were very active in that girl's life, but it still happened. You um, I didn't allow my oldest daughter. I didn't allow her to post things on TikTok for a long time, a very long time. And what's really bad about it is, take Facebook for example. Everybody likes posting pictures of their kids and their family and different things you do, say during the summer. Say you go to a swimming pool or to the beach, and people post pictures and videos of their kids in bathing suits and stuff. I get that it's to the normal thinking fucking people, it's supposed to be completely innocent. But you have those sickos out there that take those photos and do God knows what with them. And it's just something that we can't control, but we can't control what they do with them after you post them, but we can control what we air out into the world. you know, I went down a couple rabbit holes yesterday, and some of the stuff that I saw yesterday. So I got kind of interested as to what was out there. So what I did was I was looking for hidden stuff. I've been all over the dark web and ran 4 or 5 VPNs through all that stuff, and you find crazy shit on the dark web. But what I was wanting to see and what I was wanting to find is stuff that's not on the dark web, stuff that is accessible every day, all day to anybody that clicks on it. And I did. Um, I just I went to Google and I just put in porn, and of course you put in porn, and 45,000 websites pop up. Click on it, and there it is. So a lot of your popular porn sites are usually like on anything that you Google. Anything popular is going to be the first things that are pulled up. So in my mind, I was wanting to find the ones that weren't so popular. So I went through about 10 or 11 pages, I think it was on Google, and I found a couple that were kind of sketchy. Um, one of them you had to sign up for a membership. The other one, you scroll all the way to the bottom, and they've got a Q&A section at the bottom. Now, let me stop right here first. I'm going to stop right here, and I want to say this before I go any further. Anybody and everybody that knows me knows I'm raw, I'm real, and I'm going to put it out there the way I see it, because that's the only way anybody's going to know anything. Considering the fact that we've been blinded by the government for years, and now all this shit slapping us in the face. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm not going to put a blindfold on you. You're going to see it how it is. So if I trigger something, that's not my intention at all. I'm just trying to point out some things that are easily accessible on the internet and to keep an eye on. So this one website that I went to, it was, I don't know how to pronounce it, Quaro, Quaro, but this one here is it's more like a blog. And when you scroll all the way to the bottom, if you if you put in the search bar, if you put in porn on that search bar, scroll to the bottom, there were 60,000 people that were commenting on a question about where to find child porn. There were 1.7 million people that went into this one talking about where to find real and actual rape videos. I was floored. I was really, really floored. Um, and I'm sure you could click on them and then go down some more rabbit holes, and you could probably end up in that part of the web where they have that type of stuff. I didn't go any further because I wasn't on a separate VPN, and I'm not about to get I'm not about to get hemmed up for something I didn't do. Um, I don't know. It's just crazy. All the shit that you have right at your fingertips. It it blows you away. And what's even more discouraging is these companies are being allowed to do this. I 6 years ago when we started doing all this, and I started Silence back then. We had dug into a whole lot of stuff, and they have websites to where these companies can categorize these kids, boys and girls, categorize them as art models, and they'll pose them in adult type poses in their size, their version of adult clothing, and some really risque stuff. But that's how a lot of them get away with it. They're called art models, or what was it? Art models. I can't remember the other one, but it's if they do say it's a type of art, they're getting away with it that way. These are some of the things that we really need to watch. We really need to be putting out there. Take those art photos. Say your daughter or your son clicks on one of these and decides they want to be a model. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. My sister was a model. Excuse me. Um, but they click on these thinking that they're going to have a legitimate type deal, and they get brought into a world that is going to change their life forever, and not in a good way. Yeah, I said that I might trigger y'all. I get triggered on a lot of stuff, not because it, it reminds me of anything. It just pisses me off. I can feel my blood pressure going up. And the fact that we're seeing all this stuff about our own government. And I'm not a political man by no means. I don't give two fucks what they do. I don't vote. Never have voted. Never will vote, because no matter what side you vote for, they're all crooks. They're all scandalous pieces of shit. So I will never vote. But that's also the way the government gets away with it. 6 years ago, I got a lot of death threats because I dug into trafficking. Uncovered, sorry, uncovered some things that um, a lot of people don't know about. Some may have learned about it since then. I don't know. And I've talked about it in a couple of my videos, and I think I might have talked about it in one of my lives. But it's dealing with CPS and undocumented kids. That's that part is nothing new. The government's been covering that up for years. I mean, think about it. You take a kid that has no record of ever existing. What are they going to do with it? What are they going to do with that child? Or is the government going to take a chance and fork out millions of dollars to raise this kid? Or are they going to take this kid and try to earn millions of dollars? Hmm. Well, considering how fucked up our government is, I'll take this one. But yeah, I'm not political at all. I don't. I don't advocate for any political side at all. If anything, I'll give them all the finger and tell them to go fuck off. But they're covering up so much shit. But I really am glad that a lot of people are starting to wake up to it. Like the whole war in Iran. It's it's a mask, just like all the other wars. They're masked. It's like when George Bush was in office, we went to war. That whole war was over oil rights. Nobody wants to admit that. Nobody will ever say it, but that's what it was. Because you take the Bush family, who is one of the largest oil producing families in the South, probably in the United States, period. Where are they making their money at? Come on. I don't know. I don't know. They the government's been dirty for a long time. And this game that they're playing with our fucking kids is not gonna end well. It's not gonna end well. Because when it finally does all come out, I would almost, if people would actually stand the fuck up and use their voice and say something and do something about it, if that happens, I could see another revolution. And that's the truth. And to be honest with you, it's probably what needs to happen. Every one of them low life pieces of shit that are up there in Washington right now. I'm not going to say what needs to happen. We'll just say they need to be forcibly removed from office. And then if you took normal, everyday, blue collar working people and put them in those positions like they did back when everything was written, those guys were farmers and blacksmiths and tailors. They weren't fucking politicians raised with a silver spoon in their ass. They were everyday individuals. And if they were to do that and restructure the government, I bet you 10 to 1 we'd be a whole lot better off. A lot of people might disagree with that, but like I said, this is my opinion. You can like what I say or you can dislike what I say. I don't care. Oh man. I just kick. Oh, my little board. Sorry. Oh, it just kind of makes your stomach turn. It really makes your stomach turn knowing that all this has been going on and they've been putting a blinder on everybody's eyes. And while the blinder's on everybody's eyes, they're going to cause a disturbance over here. And we're going to cause a disturbance over here. And it's to distract you from what is right in front of your fucking face. That's what it always is. You know, it's like the question that came up in California when they were trying to pass pedophilia as a sexual orientation. Can you imagine? Imagine the devastation that would have caused. All the people on the Epstein list wouldn't be facing any type of anything, which I don't think they're going to get anything anyway. Because why the fuck haven't they put any of them in jail? I mean, come on, man. The fucking king put his own goddamn brother in fucking jail for doing that shit. But yet, America is so sensitive that we can't do that shit. I'd love to see public hangings, firing squads, dead ass, rape cases, anything having to do with kids, automatic death penalty. Bye. I don't want those people anywhere around me. I don't want those people anywhere around my kids or your kids or anybody's kids. You know, I pull up the registry all the time. I got the app on my phone and it's really unbelievable the ones that you find on there because a lot of them are really gross cases. And a lot of them are multiple fucking offenders. I can't wrap my head around it. You're going to allow a guy to go to jail, be convicted of, let's say, statutory rape. You're going to let him go to jail for whatever little bullshit fucking sentence you give him. And then we're going to smack him on his butt and tell him not to do it again and go home. So then here he comes again. This time it's a little bit worse. Uh, let's say aggravated sexual assault. He gets arrested. He does a little bit more time. Then they send him home with a little ankle bracelet on so he can't go anywhere. So then he does his little bullshit ass time and then he graduates to the most heinous, which is rape. Um, and he barely does time. I've seen some on there with upwards of 15 different convictions, and they're allowed to breathe and be at home. You know, something else we're digging into the the sex offender community that's in Florida. I'm not going to give all the details because we're still digging on that one, but that one's going to be good. I think there's right now there's 120 sex offenders that live in that community, and that community was founded by a sex offender himself. And he brings them there so they can have a sense of humanity. Fuck you and your humanity. Fuck you sideways with a cactus. And here's my other question: that sick ass community that's down there in Florida. For one, the state of Florida is allowing it. For two, the governor is allowing it. Three, they're allowing families to live there. And if I remember correctly, last I read, if you're a sex offender, you're not supposed to be within so many feet of a child. So how the fuck are they being allowed to do this? Oh yeah, I forgot. It's the government. It's the fucking government. Welcome to the United States. Now I kind of see why everybody wants to come here. You can come here and get away with fucking anything. Almost. Almost. If it was me, they would bury my fucking ass. Jeez. I can go across the street. I can go right across the street and rob that bank over there. And I'd be facing 50 years in prison. But I could go out there and do something like these sick fucks are doing, and I'll get a slap on the wrist and maybe do a year in jail. Fucking sick, man. And it makes you question everything. It makes you question our entire structure in this country. It makes you question fucking humanity. Where did these people come from? That's what I'd like to know. Oh, that's right. They're rich fucks like Donald Trump who were born with a gold spoon in his mouth. It feels like he can get away with anything. That's But then on the other side of that spectrum, you have people that grew up very poor. Sorry, I kicked the desk again. You have people that grew up very poor, some of the offenders. To me, that comes in lack of parenting. You know, people give their kids things like phones and video games and kind of out of sight, out of mind type shit. That don't really keep tabs on what their kids are doing. So then they fall into these fucked up crowds and they end up getting into some shit. I've always said that if you want to change the world, if you want to make an actual fucking change the dynamic of the home. Change the dynamic of the home. You and your spouse or your ex-spouse, y'all don't have to be married. You don't have to live in the same household to co-parent and raise your kids the way they're supposed to be raised. But if you yourself were brought up in an abusive home, you can change that dynamic with your kids that are coming up. That is how you change this shit. You instill morals in your kids, you instill what's right and wrong. And that by itself would make I can't even put it in words. The difference that would make. If I would have done half the stuff that has happened to me, I would either be dead or in prison or completely just insane, blasted out of my mind. But a long time ago, because of my grandparents, I chose not to do those things. I chose to do exactly opposite of what I was shown. Now, I don't regret a single thing that happened to me in my life because it's brought me to where I'm at. I've got great kids. I've got a great job. I live a pretty good life. I don't get into shit. I've got a bunch of irons in the fire of things that projects that I've got going on. I wouldn't be here right now. But I made that choice a long time ago not to follow down that road. And if we can take our kids and show them how it's supposed to be. Don't fucking tell them. Don't fucking give them a tablet and say, here, read this. Fucking show them. And another aspect of that, show them the fucking dirt. Show them the gross. Now, I'm not saying pull up porn sites and show your kids. I'm not saying that. But show them the hard truths of what happens if they go down that in that wrong area. What could happen? Talk to them about Haley and all the other kids that have been groomed and have disappeared and still nobody has found. I couldn't imagine being one of the parents of one of those 37 kids they found in California the other day. I could not imagine any one of my kids getting taken. I would not sleep a single day. I would not stop until they were found. I try to put things out there because I'm tired of seeing the statistics all the time. And we have the power to change it. We really do. We have our voices. We can go out there and we can make a bunch of fucking noise. Sure, you're probably going to get a ticket or something for disturbing the peace, but fuck them. Fuck what they say. I mean, they'll let groups like Antifa and all them fucking idiots go out there and do whatever kind of violence they do, and they'll allow them to protest. But yet, I could go probably tomorrow and stand up on the courthouse steps with a bullhorn and one of my signs that I made, and I would get ran off. But you let Antifa or some group like that that's controlled by the government. They don't want to admit it and they'll never say it is, but it is. You let one of those groups do it, and they could damn near get away with murder. Damn near. I know I've turned this whole thing into a rant session, but you know, it's my opinion. It's the way I feel. Excuse me. Sorry. I forget this microphone's here. So I'm going to read some of these comments. I've been watching it out of the corner of my eye. It's just rolling. Okay. Another thing that I've noticed here lately, and it's gotten worse. It's really gotten worse as the years go by, is how out of tune with their surroundings people are. Have you ever been walking into a grocery store or a mall or anywhere down the street or anything, and you see somebody clearly coming towards you, but they have no clue that you're right in front of them because they got that phone stuck right in their face? You ever seen that shit? I think it's hilarious. Be aware of your surroundings. Don't let your kids run off across the store or across the mall anywhere by themselves. Use the old buddy system. Hold it, hold hands, go to the bathroom together, whatever. But don't let them go by themselves. Scan that fucking room before you walk in it. I do. Every room I walk into, every restaurant I walk into, any place I go to, I scan that room before I walk in anywhere in that building. And I always try to find a way out. Always. Because I want to know who me, my kids, or whoever is going to be around. It doesn't make you weird. It doesn't make you overly cautious. It makes you being a fucking parent. A fucking parent. Imagine that concept. Huh. Weird. And what's really fucked up about that is if you think back of some of the stuff that ads and movies and um, talk shows and different things that have been put out there, and I want you to think about this. How many of those have you ever watched or listened to that have inadvertently, not inadvertently, what is the word? Subliminally. Ugh, hell, sound like I've been drinking. No, not yet. Anyway, um, they're telling you it's okay. Let your kids live their life. Let them go experience this and do this. I've heard it a lot, a lot. And then you've got some political groups that are telling you, like I said in the beginning of this, that you're being overbearing, or you're being a helicopter mom or dad. Okay. So why is that? Why is that? So I can't let my kids get sucked into the bullshit that you're spitting, and I'm not going to. And if I have anything to do with it, I'm not going to let anybody else's kids get sucked into it. But then that makes me the bad guy. I'm the bad guy because I speak up and I dig and I look for shit and I investigate. I try to find the loopholes in every fucking thing and I try to find the cracks that they hide their bullshit in. That's what I do. That's what this live is about. That's what the podcast on Spotify is going to be about. Like I said the other day, when it's all said and done, I probably will end up with more death threats. It's okay. It's okay. I've had death threats for years from various different people. If you kill me for what I believe in, you're going to make me a martyr. I say it all the time. So do your best. I'm not going to shut up. I will not shut up. Not anybody on the internet, not anybody in public is going to ever make me shut up. Bet. I have fun with this stuff. Yes, it's mentally mind fucking at times, but I have fun discovering things. I have fun exposing these fucking idiots. And I can't wait to go into the other part of all this, the actually putting some of these assholes under the jail, which we're working on right now. If you've been on TikTok, you've seen some of the videos that I've put out. Those are actual chats that we have where we've actually had conversations with these sick fucks. It takes a little bit longer to get them because you have to make them feel comfortable enough to give their addresses or at least the town they live in before you can even know where to turn it over to. But it's coming. Believe me, it's fucking coming. But I hope I didn't bore y'all too much. I hope some of those things that I've talked about are helpful. Kind of make you think a little bit. Kind of make you do some digging yourself. And that's my biggest hope out of all this. I want everybody to take my videos and stuff that we post on all the different platforms that we've got accounts on now. Take my lives and look for yourself. Look for yourself. Go on Google and Google underage art photos. Dig deep into the porn websites and look for the discussions and the Q&A parts of them. You're going to find a lot of sick shit. I don't suggest going on the dark web because it's dangerous. It really is, unless you're running multiple VPNs. But I will warn you about it. If you've never been on it, stay off of it because you're going to see things that if you are not mentally strong enough for it, it it'll rip your brain out the back of your head. The amount of sick ass shit that is out there. Everything from real life murder videos that you can buy to all the sexual stuff that is just gross. The thing about it is there a lot of those places, especially on the dark web, they're owned by foreign countries. They're owned by people in different countries. And it's hard to really track them down and pinpoint exactly where they're coming from because they bounce that shit off of several different VPNs, several different IP addresses, and it's just hard. I wish the United States would get their fucking head out of their ass and restrict that shit. It's just never going to happen. Oh, you know why? Because the government makes money off all that shit. Sick fucks. I gotta hit my vape. It's bad. Still have flashbacks. Yeah, we had when we were digging into all that stuff with the dark web, we had some people in the group at the time. They had to take breaks. They had to, which I suggested to everybody to take a break, take a mental break. Um, it's bad. You will have nightmares with some of that stuff. It'll burn in your brain. It will burn a spot in your brain that you will never forget. So, my suggestion is, since we've already been there and looked at it and done that, let us do it. We'll just tell you about it. Okay. Just for your own safety and your own mental stability. I'll put it out there for you. Because, like I said, I'm not going to sugarcoat a fucking thing on here. Not a fucking thing on here. Unlike TikTok, they're sensitive ass bitches over there. And I'll be completely honest with you and transparent. Um, my days on TikTok are numbered. It just really is. Uh, some of the disgusting and vile shit that you see on that app and the way people are treated by other people is gross. The fact that TikTok has filtered things so much, you can't hardly breathe the wrong way on there without getting banned or some kind of restriction or some shit. So, in order for me and Silence to be able to do what we're doing and continue what we're doing, we're going to have to be on a more open platform. That's why we're here. We've got all the other platforms that we've got accounts on now, um, and I'll be completely transparent again. If YouTube was to shut me down tomorrow, we're going to hit every platform until I can find one where I can speak freely. not going to stop this shit. You can restrict me, you can ban me. I do not give a fuck. Do not give a fuck. I'll figure out a way. I will figure out a way. But I won't keep y'all too much longer. We've been on here about 45 minutes or so. We are, man, I want to tell y'all so bad. I just can't. I just can't. Um, we've got something really huge in the works. It's 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 a 6 year dream, and it's finally getting to where it's coming to fruition. And it's not the book. The book is the other one, but it's going to be huge. Um, Speaking of the book, I put a video out a couple days ago, I think it was, and we're going to have a deadline on the book. It's going to be August of this year because I would love to get all the submissions in by August. That way I can hopefully get the book out by the end of the year. Like I've been telling everybody, if you want to put a submission in there, you can be completely anonymous. You can put your name. You can change all the names for your own safety or to protect other people. It's whatever you want to do. But I do want it handwritten because, like I was explaining the other day, it makes it feel real. It's not printed pages on a book from a publisher. It's your handwriting on a letter in a book. It just seems more personal to me. Um, like I said, August is the deadline. Oh, August is the deadline. Um, you can email them to SINAO for us at gmail.com or send them to our post office box, which is P.O. Box 97, Hicksville, Ohio 43526. So I hope to get them all. I wish everybody would put their story out there to inspire other people to do it. But if not, I completely understand. It's a hard thing to live and then relive again. So I completely understand. Also, anybody that submits their story to the book, I'm going to give you a free copy of the book just for your submission. Sound good? Sounds good to me. Sounds pretty fair. But next week, same time, 7 p.m. Central, same place. But next week, we're going to move into some of the men's mental health stuff. And that's the way I plan on doing this. I'm going to alternate weeks. One week will be about pedophiles. Next week will be about men's mental health. When we talk about men's mental health next Monday, it's going to be on a lot of the things that men deal with on a day to day basis. The struggles that we have in the dark by ourselves, the things that run through our head about our families and our jobs and our future. So I hope you guys tune in, come see me, shoot me some messages, spread the word. But y'all have a good night. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all next week.